Hi guys, welcome to Learn Kenyan Law with Wanjiku, and this is the platform where you get legally informed on matters law here in Kenya. And for today, we're specifically going to be talking about searches and search warrants. I know most of you have been having questions in regards to why does the police officer just stop me in the middle of the road and wants to search my car? Why do they have to search me? Why do they have to just come inside my house and search me even sometimes without a search warrant? And what do I need to know about search warrants and searches? And so we're going to delve deeper into it. And it is important for us to note that search warrants are governed by Section 118 to Section 122 of the Criminal Procedure Code of Kenya. And a search warrant is defined as an authority to search a place for evidence of a crime which is suspected or believed to have been committed to make an arrest of a suspected criminal. And of course, it is also important for us to note that a search warrant authorizes the person to whom it is addressed to enter a place or a premise described in the warrant. So when we're talking about a search warrant, when a police officer comes to your house and they tell you we have to search your house because we have a search warrant, they are basically saying that they're coming into that house to search for an evidence of a crime so that they're able to arrest the suspected criminal. And a search warrant authorizes the person to whom it is addressed to. Meaning, if it is a police officer, then that police officer is the one who has that right to just get into your house and conduct the search. And it is also important to note that if the specific item is found in the house, if for example you're being suspected of being a drug dealer and a police officer has come to your house with a search warrant and they've already seen the kind of drugs, maybe you're having cocaine, you're having weed, you're having all those illegal drugs in your house. When that item is found, it should be seized by that police officer and it should be taken to the court having jurisdiction. If a police officer has a reasonable suspicion that you're having evidence in your house or in a specific place, then what this police officer can do, he may go to the courts and apply for the authorization of a search warrant so that they're able to just come at your place and conduct the search. It is important for us to note that under Section 118 of the CPC, it is necessary that the evidence of a reasonable suspicion must be given on oath. So basically what I mean by saying this, I mean that if a police officer is having a reasonable suspicion that there is evidence in a certain place for the investigation of a crime, we have said number one, he has to apply in a court. And of course, he has to give an affidavit and he has to swear. You know, the police officer must show that there is reasonable ground for this suspicion and must be given by a way of an affidavit sworn by the officer. And of course, such an application is made ex parte in line with Section 118A. And again, I am also going to talk about the fact that a search warrant can be issued on any day, including a Sunday. And this is very specific. It is well outlined under Section 119 of the Criminal Procedure Code of Kenya. It says that a search warrant may be issued on any day, including Sunday, for urgent matters. So if the court thinks that this is very urgent, a search warrant can be conducted at any day and at any time, including a Sunday, so it does not have to be on a Monday to a Friday. Another important thing that we're going to be talking about is that under Section 120 of the CPC, there is an obligation on the person in charge of a closed place or premises to allow ingress and egress. So basically by this I mean, for example, you're employed as a soldier. You know, you're the one who is in charge of guarding a place. You have an obligation to open the door to the police officer when they want to come and search and to also close the door on their way out. You know, you're also supposed to allow them to enter and you're also supposed to allow them to leave. And failure to provide ingress or egress, it allows the police officer to use force to enter or to break out of the premises. So for example, if you're a soldier and you refuse and you tell them, no, you're not entering into this building, then the police officers have the right to use force. And of course, if the police officers enter, but you tell them you do not have the right to leave before the owner comes, then these specific police officers have the right to break out of the premises. So under Section 120 of the CPC, it is important for us to note that if you're a worker at a place or if you're a soldier and you are the person who is in charge of opening the door and closing the door, then you have to allow the police officers to enter and conduct a search warrant. It is also important for us to note that a search may be conducted with or without a search warrant. It does not necessarily mean that all the police officers have to get a search warrant for them to search a premises. There are specific circumstances where a search may be conducted without a search warrant, and we're going to talk about which specific circumstances these are. Number 1, where a person who is being sought by the police to be arrested enters a place where the process of getting a search warrant would give the fugitive a chance to escape, then the police is allowed to enter into that place without a search warrant. So basically what I mean here is that if the police officers are chasing someone and this person enters into a house, then that police officer, under Section 22 of the CPC, they are allowed to enter that place and search for that person who is supposed to be arrested. What is the reason for this? For example, you're a fugitive and the police has been looking for you probably for the last 1 year, and then they see you, they start chasing you, then you get inside the house. If the police officer now starts going to court to get a search warrant, then definitely the fugitive is going to escape. So in such a circumstance, the police officer is allowed to conduct a search without a search warrant. Under Section 26 of the CPC, which empowers the police to detain and search an aircraft, vessel, and vehicles, and if they have reason to suspect the same contains stolen property or property unlawfully obtained. So basically, just from Section 26 of the CPC, we are being told that the police officer has the right to just come and search your aircraft and your vehicle or any type of vessel, even if they do not have a search warrant. If they just have a reason to suspect that you either have stolen property or property that you have obtained unlawfully, then the police has the right to just search. And that is why sometimes you see that when you're driving a vehicle, sometimes there are police officers beside the road and maybe they're looking for a particular car. Maybe they're saying a Pro Box. They're not even sure of the number plate, but they're sure that a Pro Box has escaped with property that is unlawfully obtained. So now you see them by the roadside, stopping every Pro Box and doing a search. You see, in such a circumstance, that police officer does not have a search warrant. So they also have a right to search that vessel, to search that aircraft, to search that vehicle, if they just believe or if they have reason to suspect that your vessel has stolen property. And you see, in this specific scenario, they don't even have a search warrant. It is because they are empowered by Section 26 of the Criminal Procedure Code of Kenya. Another circumstance where a search may be conducted without a search warrant, the police can just stop you, just randomly and search you. They are legally authorized to do that. They don't need a search warrant for them to search you. Another example where a search can be conducted without a search warrant is that a private person may stop and search either a vehicle, a vessel, or an aircraft if this person is authorized by written permission from the Commissioner of Police. And some of these people who are authorized by the Commissioner of Police to conduct searches are officers of Immigration Department. We also have the Customs and Excise Department, and sometimes even you're going in a mall, those people just check your vehicles. They tell you, open your boot, let us see what you have. When you're going to the customs area, they tell you, we have to search your aircraft. We have to search this vessel. Those people are authorized, by a written permission from the Commissioner of Police, and hence they do not need a search warrant to either search your vehicle, to either search your vessel, to either search your aircraft, such things. So the next thing that we're going to be talking about are the contents of the search warrant. So now, there is something called a search warrant. What are the contents? Sometimes a police officer just comes, knocks your house, and then they go like, we have a search warrant to search your premises. Maybe you can be asking yourself, what are the contents that are supposed to be on a search warrant? So right now we're going to specifically talk about the contents of the search warrant according to Section 122, read together with Section 102 of the CPC. So one of the contents that you're going to find on a search warrant is the offense with which the person, place, or thing being searched is related. So you're going to clearly see that the specific offense, for example, can be drug trafficking, and it is in connection with this person who probably lives here. That is why they are searching this place, and that is why this person is related to the search and all that. So basically, one of the contents in a search warrant is the offense with which the person, place, or thing being searched is related. The second thing that we're going to talk about when it comes to the contents of the search warrant is the name or description of the person, place, or thing being searched. So they're going to clearly describe. They're also going to clearly name the person. They're going to say, if probably you're called Peter Mwangi, they're going to say the person Peter Mwangi who looks like this. They're going to describe the person. They're also going sometimes to describe the place. They're going to say they're specifically going to a building. Maybe you live in an estate. So they're going to say house number 122. Such things, such an information, you're going to find it on a search warrant. The next content of a search warrant is the person to execute the search warrant. And sometimes it's even the persons, So the person who is authorized to carry out the search warrant, their name is going to be there. If they're called Mr. Mwangi, their name Mr. Mwangi is going to be there, and probably even their rank, if they work for the police officers, if they're from the terrorism unit, such things. The next content of a search warrant is an order directed to the executor of the warrant to seize the products of the search and produce them in court, issuing the warrant or any other court with jurisdiction to be dealt with in accordance with the law. So basically what I mean by this is that they are authorized to seize the products. For example, they were searching for drugs because the offense is drug trafficking. Then they come to your house and they get heroin and cocaine and weed. They are authorized to seize those products. And then they're going to produce them in court. So basically, if they are coming to your house to search for drugs, weapons, or such things, if they find them, they have the order. They are directed to seize those products and they're going to produce them in a court of law. So far, I hope you have understood about searches and search warrants, but it is very important for me to point that under our Kenyan Constitution, under Article 24, there are limitations of rights and fundamental freedoms. And basically, a right or fundamental freedom in the Bill of Rights shall not be limited except by law, and then only to the extent that the limitation is reasonable and justifiable in an open and democratic society based on human dignity, equality, and freedom, taking into account all relevant factors, including, number 1, the nature of the right or fundamental freedom, number 2, the importance of the purpose of the limitation, number 3, the nature and extent of the limitation, number 4, the need to ensure that the enjoyment of rights and fundamental freedoms by any individual does not prejudice the right and fundamental freedom of others, and the relation between the limitation and its purpose, and whether they are less restrictive means to achieve the purpose. And for this reason, the power to issue such warrants is vested only in the courts or the magistrate. So the only person who has the power to issue a search warrant is a magistrate or the court. So the invasion of an individual's privacy, no matter how well-intentioned, is not left to the unrestricted whim of the police or other investigative agencies. So it is very important for us to note that our Kenyan Constitution is very vigilant on protecting our rights and our freedoms, our fundamental freedoms. However, there are some limitations to these freedoms, and I have already pointed out which relevant factors are going to be included. And I have also said that for a search warrant to be given, it is given only by the courts and the magistrate. It cannot be given by just any police officer or any investigative agencies. Thank you so much for listening to this, and I hope you have learned a lot about searches and search warrants. I hope you understand your rights right now. I hope you understand now what are the contents of a search warrant, and you also know that there are limitations to our rights and our fundamental freedoms. Feel free to subscribe, feel free to leave a comment, feel free to ask anything. If you want to learn about any specific thing when it comes to matters law, feel free to also request it. Thank you so much. Bye.